New York Knicks are on a roll right now, and it couldn't come too soon for Knicks fans who've had to hide in shame under paper bags. They've had to wait 7 long years just to sniff the playoffs. The Knicks resurgence started when they hired Tom Thibodeau to be the head coach, and relevancy was restored as they quickly became an elite defense, while also surprising many on offense. All jokes aside, it is great for fans and the NBA to see the Knicks competing again. And it's probably safe to say James Dolan turned this franchise around just in the nick of time. It's FYF Sports, man. It's Lamont. We are back for another podcast episode. Today we've just had to go back to our NBA film study. We've kind of been slacking on our NBA film study. I haven't been giving you guys those once a week jewels, just to kind of show you guys how we see the game, how we break the game down from a unique perspective. So we're gonna get back to doing those, and as you can see from the video, I think this team is most befitting of it because, every time I want to count the Knicks out, every time I want to say that what they're doing this year is a fluke, they win another game, they get above 500, they have an impressive win here, they have a great defensive outing here, and because of the consistency, I've already taken the time to give them props for what they've been doing. But for them to maintain it, and it now looks like they're going to carry this wave and the momentum into the playoffs, I mean, it's unbelievable what Tom Thibodeau has this team doing. Before we get into the video, before we start today, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to the video if you have not done so already. Right now would be another great opportunity for you guys to pull up your Facebook app and follow us on Facebook, on FYF Sports Debates on Facebook. Make sure you follow us there, because over the next couple of months, we're probably going to be live streaming on Facebook. All right, so if you don't want to miss those live streams, make sure you're following us on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and continue to follow us on YouTube, because when we go live, we're going to post the teaser videos and the community post on YouTube. We're going to post all the notifications on social media, but the actual live event is going to be held on the FYF Sports Debates page on Facebook. All right. If you guys don't know, if you're not familiar with the news, we did a recent video on Deshaun Watson. I thought everyone who participated in the panel did a good job of keeping it professional, voicing their opinion on that particular situation. But there were a few out there who felt some type of way about our opinions. They reported the video. YouTube flagged the channel, said it was insensitivity towards women, and because of that, we have a 90-day ban on live streaming. Obviously, we're going to be appealing that decision. Hopefully, we can get that back soon. But again, I'm not the type to sit around and just beg YouTube to give something back. We can just continue to post videos here, and if we need to go live, obviously we got a multitude of other platforms where we can do that. We definitely don't need YouTube for that. So again, make sure you're following us on Facebook. We're gonna go start those live streams over there. The platform is going to be the same. The way you join the live panel is going to be the same. By just clicking the link, joining the StreamYard, it's going to be exactly the same, just on another platform. But we got to get back to the New York Knicks. And a lot of people haven't really taken the time to really break down how this defense has improved greatly and why. Why is what they're doing defensively going ignored? I mean, we spend so much time. We talk about the Portland Trail Blazers. We've been talking a lot about Steph Curry. We've been talking a lot about the Brooklyn Nets and the firepower that they have over there. That's all offense. You know, but when we talk about the top defensive teams in the league, the Phoenix Suns, the Utah Jazz, the Sixers, the Lakers, I don't think these teams really get enough credit because nobody cares to talk about the importance of defense. In our live streams, we hear comment after comment after comment. Brooklyn, that firepower on offense, who can score with them, who can outscore them, who can do this, who can do that. But that's all offensive related. Nobody talks about the defensive side of the ball. This is the side of the ball that ultimately wins championships. We're talking about a Knicks team that struggled to score the ball last year. This is other than some draft picks, this is basically the same Knicks team. Everybody thought that a lot of these guys like Reggie Bullock, Frank Ntilikina, Elfrid Payton, they thought these guys would be gone. Tom Thibodeau brought this same cast of guys back and has turned them into one of the elite defensive powerhouses in the NBA. Today, on our NBA film study video, we're going to be analyzing the video to really break down what he's doing defensively to stifle teams. All right, and he has, after analyzing the video, and I've really taken time to watch the film, I've highlighted some sequences that I feel best highlight how he's been able to hide his defensive flaws, because this is not a perfect defensive team, but he's been able to hide weaknesses. Remember, Randle was a weakness in the pick and roll at one point in time. He's been able to hide that to a certain degree. With regards to Nerlens Noel was consistently in foul trouble. He's now made Nerlens Noel an extremely a valuable defensive player in the league, at least with regards to the analytics. I mean, you cannot, he's probably one of the premier or elite defenders in the league. He's done something with this team that nobody else thought he could do. Even me. Going into the season, I predicted this team to be, maybe a 12 seed in the East. I did not think they would be in playoff contention. He's benched a lot of guys. Everybody thought Obi Toppin will come right out the gate and be vying for that power forward position with Julius Randle. Obi Toppin's failed to get on the court. I mean, he's reduced players' minutes. Some guys are completely relegated to the bench. Frank Ntilikina, who was a primary starter last year, is now not just a rotational guy, but some nights he gets DNP'd and doesn't even play. And I think what I see in his system, what I see in Tom Thibodeau's system is he has a low tolerance for bad effort. If you're not giving effort, regardless of what your name is, regardless of how much money you're making, regardless of what you do for this team, if you're not giving max effort on the defensive end, you're not going to play. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to the drawing board. All right, we're going to review these clips. We're going to break down what the New York Knicks are doing defensively to be much better. And then at the end of the show, obviously, after really analyzing this, I can give you guys my thoughts on how far can this team really go. Are they a sleeper in the East? Are we completely sleeping on them? And if they can turn their offense around, are the Knicks, are they a contender to get out the East? I don't know. Let's get to the NBA film study to find out. All right, we got Tom Thibodeau, the orchestrator of this defense. Let's look at some of these defensive numbers right here. All right, we got as far as the defensive rating goes, we got the Lakers, who are the number one defense in the league. Obviously, they're the champions. We got the Sixers, who undeniably no one can deny how great they are defensively, with Ben Simmons, the most probable candidate to be Defensive Player of the Year. You got Joel Embiid, who's been a force at the rim, with another cast of guys on that team, such as Matisse Thybulle, who are all willing to play their role defensively. They're elite. We got the New York Knicks. This is the biggest surprise out of all these teams right here. The biggest surprise is the New York Knicks. You're talking about one of the worst teams in the NBA last year who've been able to turn it around simply because of bringing in one head coach. I had my doubts about Tom Thibodeau being hired. I thought it was the wrong hire. I thought he was too hard on young guys. These guys seem to want to be coached. They're showing that they want to be coached because no team gets this good on defense if they don't believe in the philosophy that this coach is preaching and teaching on a daily basis. So, I mean, again, salute to the New York Knicks for buying into a new culture. We see that they all have the mindset of wanting to win now, and it has to start from the top down with Tom Thibodeau at the helm. We see the Jazz and the Suns. Look at all these teams on the list. What's one thing that they have in common? All of these teams don't have flashy or super high firepower on the offensive end of the court. You know, when people talk about the Suns, they say they're not good enough to get out the West. They're going to lose to the Clippers. They're going to lose to the Lakers. You know, hold your horses on that. When you have a fifth-rate defense, anything is possible. You can easily find yourself in the finals. The same with the Utah Jazz with Rudy Gobert, former Defensive Player of the Year, anchoring that defense. And you have a whole host of guys out there who have all bought in defensively. The Knicks, obviously, we know what the Sixers and the Lakers can do. Let's move on. All right, now we're breaking down the first play. Now, what I want to highlight here is something called drop coverage. All right, we got Reggie Bullock right here. We have Reggie Bullock at the top of the key. We have Julius Randle in drop coverage. Now, when you put a guy like Julius Randle in drop coverage, what Tom Thibodeau has given him the freedom to do is be what we call a read and react defender. A lot of people have heard of the read and react offense, but he's opened up the gateways for Julius Randle not to be set or stuck in any particular screen and roll defensive action. He doesn't have to switch. He doesn't have to fight over. He doesn't have to hedge. He can simply read out of drop coverage. So let's watch this. Let's watch this defensive sequence progress on a little bit. So we see Julius Randle in his drop coverage. All right, we see our help defender shifted over. Now I've highlighted it right there. All right, so we see Derrick Rose. Even though Derrick Rose is one pass away, and most coaches will teach if you're one pass away, you need to be one step off your man. Derrick Rose is at least 2 steps off his man. That's fine. Because what they've done is understanding that Julius Randle has struggled in the past in the pick and roll. They are committed to not leaving him on an island. If this guard breaks free off this pick and roll, the guard's not only going to see Julius Randle, but you're going to see a host of defenders guarding the pick and roll, guarding the drive as a team. This is what you want as a great defensive unit. You need all 5 guys focused on guarding the basketball. Let's allow this to develop right here. All right. Everybody is in the box. And it's similar to a pack the line defense. All right. But everybody's just in great help position right now. All right. Now, when you're packing the line, when you're packing the defense in, as you can see, Reggie Bullock will never go under the screen. I talked about this in other videos with players like Kyrie Irving who just don't know how or just don't give max effort to fight over the screen. I can take it back slightly a little bit more just to show you how Reggie Bullock is really one of the ones that makes this happen. All right, because they've packed the paint, because they have help shaded towards the pick and roll, because they're also mindful of the shot clock. All right, as soon as Brandon Ingram comes off this pick and roll, he sees a whole team of defenders in front of him, while Reggie Bullock is at the same time fighting over. All right, which means you have a guy chasing and you have a whole unit in front of you trying to stop you from scoring. All right, so you turn a great offensive player into a playmaker, and in most cases, it doesn't translate very well. Bullock does a great job of chasing, recovering. They do a good job of team rebounding. All right, we have Toronto right here, so we see what the Knicks are doing. We're gonna slow it down. He's fighting over. The drop coverage is there. Look at the great drop coverage position. And the way you see Taj Gibson defending drop coverage right there is what you want from teams. This is what I want to see from teams like the Nets who struggle defensively, or the Charlotte Hornets who struggle defensively. He's engaged. He's ready to stop the drive, but he's also in a stance to switch it if his guy is able to recover. We see a lot of bigs who aren't ready to move, and if this guard recovers, you have two people on the ball. In this case, Gibson is going to be able to do a good job of reading the action and doing a good job of making the right decision. Let's watch how this play develops. All right. The guard recovers. The guard successfully recovers, and as soon as the guard successfully recovers, Taj Gibson not just guards his man, he engages him to stop his momentum to the basket. Do you guys see how he stopped his momentum to the basket to prevent lobs, cuts, clears them out, and they get the rebound. Great defense right there. Same action right there. He fights over Elfrid Payton. Good switch right there. Remember what I told y'all before. Julius Randle in this defense has the option to do whatever he wants. If it's a switch, if it's drop coverage, but he's giving him the freedom to do what he wants on the fly, so he doesn't get in foul trouble and so he doesn't get frustrated on the defensive end of the court. Let's watch that again. All right, so now they switch that. Kuzma doesn't want that matchup with Randle. Again, here comes another screen. Today's NBA is all about screening. But let's look at this setup right here. I'm gonna take that back because I really wanted y'all to see this setup. I want y'all to really see how this gets set up. All right, pick and roll with Julius Randle. He switches it. Kuzma gets the ball. They think it's a good ISO. Kuzma gives it right back. Another pick and roll with Drummond. All right, pick and roll with Drummond. Remember the Lakers. This is what I was just on our Weezy's Bangs podcast, and I said if you want to beat the Lakers, what you have to do, I think the Knicks won this game actually, but you have to just pack the paint and say you guys are going to be a three-point shooting team, which is something that they struggle at. You're not going to get to the rim. You're not going to beat us at the rim. Watch what the Knicks are doing. The Knicks are not honoring Kyle Kuzma's three-point shot. The Knicks are not honoring this weak side corner three-point shot. All right, the best three-point shooter is here in this corner. All right, and we see Reggie Bullock one step off his man, but he's also ready to protect. So this is really a pack the line style defense where they are willing to pack the paint. And in this three-point driven league today, they're saying you guys are going to have to take and make contested threes to beat us. You're not going to beat us getting to the rim, dunking, getting layups, getting out in transition on us. All right, so we're going to watch how they're committed to the help, extremely committed to the help on the pick and roll. So not normally a pick and roll where you might be able to get this pass to Drummond, because the paint is so clogged, there are no passing lanes to a roller. All right, because the passing lanes are dead, the guard now has to make a last-minute decision. Do I take a bad layup? Do I swing it to the corner or take a contested three? What do I do? He swings it to the corner. The Knicks do a great job of recovering out there. All right, getting a hand on the ball becomes a turnover. Same situation, same game. Pick and roll is always coming. All right, Taj Gibson switches. Guard is chasing over. All right, Horton Tucker's out of control. Taj Gibson walls up perfectly, and the Knicks get the rebound. Same here. Drop coverage is key. All right, remember what I told you guys, and that hand on ball is key. Remember, this is why they pack the lane. I want y'all to see this. Okay, see, because they're committed to packing the lane. All right, because they want teams to chuck up bad threes the whole game. They're committed to packing the lane. So committed that they're willing, because they want to take away these role guys. That's what kills you in the NBA. These are the buckets that kill you. These are the buckets that get you in foul trouble. The more help that you can give these guys coming off this pick and roll, the much easier and the much better your defense is going to flow. You want these guys scrambling, kicking out passes, trying to shoot last-second shots at the end of the shot clock. Allow it to develop. He swings it in, tip ball. They drive off the pick and roll. Every time on the pick and roll, they're fighting over. All right, Taj Gibson recovers quickly back to his man, but stays in drop coverage because he sees the pick and roll coming. All right, he walls up, great D. And remember what I said, all you have to do is play great D for about 20 seconds. At around 20 seconds, now teams are panicking. And look at the type of shot they throw up because of the panic. Tom Thibodeau has convinced these guys to play defense at an elite level by being consistent in principles. Remember, when I get on the Brooklyn Nets and I talk about they're not consistent in their principles, how are they going to turn it on in the playoffs? This is what I mean. Every play that I've showed you, they've consistently been great at what? They've been consistently great at fighting over screens. Every player. This is like the third different player that I've went through going over screens. It was Derrick Rose. It was Reggie Bullock. We have another player now. We got Alec Burke fighting over. These guys aren't just fighting over. This is why when I look at those Brooklyn Nets games and I see the lackluster effort from Kyrie Irving fighting over screens, those are one of the indicators to me that you're going to lose high-level games where on those plays fighting over every possession actually matters. Watch how these guys fight for this possession. It's still in the first quarter. It's 16-24. And they're fighting for the possession. That means they value every possession. Watch this. He fights over. All right. The big switches. But we're going to take that back a little bit more so we can see this whole play develop. All right. And watch how they scramble and recover. Screen coming. All right. Great help right there. Derrick Rose chases over. Taj Gibson does a great job of recovering into space. He's still watching the pick and roll. He knows the shot clock. He walls up. Bad shot taken by Rodney Hood. We're going the other way. New York Knicks. Remember the pick and roll, that high pick and roll, teams are going to try to run it all the time. Nerlens Noel trying to take him one-on-one, probably not a good idea. All right, we're going back to the pick and roll here. Back to the pick and roll. They switch. The bigs choose. Nerlens Noel moves his feet. Great block. Nerlens Noel is such an underrated defender, man. Analytically, he's probably one of the best in the league analytically. All right, he's right up there with Rudy Gobert. He just doesn't get the minutes to get credit for as far as any defensive teams or defensive awards go. Pick and roll, great drop coverage, great recovery back to the big, way to engage the big. All right, so you take them out of the picture, and they're consistent in principles. Meet them at the rim as a team. Great defense, Nerlens Noel. Nerlens Noel has been one of the keys to this. This Knicks team, you guys, they are not top 10 in the NBA without Nerlens Noel. He's one of the most underrated, undervalued guys in the league. All right, he had a situation where he passed up on a big payday and he didn't get the money he wanted in free agency. I guarantee you, when it's time for him to be a free agent again, this guy will be getting another big time payday. All right, because analytically, he's top 5 in the NBA defensively. Again, he's only playing, maybe 20 minutes a game, sometimes 17. He's not giving you all the flashy buckets. But how can we never talk about Nerlens Noel being a great defender? I keep telling y'all, defense is ugly. Defense is what nobody wants to do, that nobody gets credit for. They love the flashy handle. Somebody sent me a link of a Kyrie Irving video. You got Jay Williams talking about Kyrie Irving being Picasso with the ball. Is he Picasso on defense? No, he looks like a little 4-year-old drawing with crayons on defense. Like I said, keep the same energy on both sides of the court, because generally the defensive side of the court is what's going to win you championship. Let's get back to the NBA film study. Now we're going to break down some of these stats. What really makes this Knicks team, just run like an engine? Let's look at some of these stats. Julius Randle has been one of the major cogs to making this work. All right. Not just, obviously we can talk about the defense all day. I just ran through a sequence of plays and I could run through 100 more. That would get very repetitive. I told you, defensively, they are extremely consistent. But what Julius Randle has done this year offensively has been blowing my mind. Look at these stats. He's going 37 minutes a game without hesitation. He's going 37 minutes a game. He's not crying about it. He's not hollering for load management. He's just going out there putting in work. 23 points a game, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Underrated passer. 46% from the field, 40% from the three-point line. That was one of my major worries about him. How valuable would Julius Randle be if he's not making threes? He's making threes at a 40% clip and 80% from the free throw line. You talk about a guy that's playing for a major payday, Julius Randle is that guy, because you can no longer say he's not a floor stretcher. You can no longer say he's not a good defender. All right, you can no longer say he can't shoot the ball. You can no longer say he can't finish at the rim. This year, he's eliminated all the myths on his name. But that's because he took the time to not just get better, but he's implementing everything that Tom Thibodeau is giving him. And you can tell it's outcome driven. He's putting in the work. The outcome is showing up on the court. Great shot right there. That 3-point shot is killing teams. We're going to look at the Knicks offensively here for a little bit. All right. Julius Randle with the 3. All right, we're looking at the DHO right here. All right, look how that was set up, y'all. That was set up beautifully. Remember, I put the arrows out there to help you out. We're gonna run it back just a little bit. So as they get the ball in, so they love doing a lot of DHOs and misdirections. So remember, we saw a series of pick and rolls where the Knicks were defended. The Knicks offensively like to use the pick and roll for misdirection. All right, because most teams can't defend the way they do. They're able to lure teams and getting them to bite on pick and rolls when that's never their intention. All right, they work out of a triangle set. So on this pick and roll, you got the big man rolling hard to the rim. Obviously, he's always a lob threat. But now this is where Julius Randle has become extremely elite and lethal. He's now able to make the 3 at a 40% clip. And now teams, because if you don't double the big, that's a lob, easy bucket at the rim. Now you have to double the big. And because you have to double the big with the other guard chasing, you're leaving Randle wide open. He's the leading scorer on the team. Allow this play to develop. Guard makes a good pass out, wide open 3. All right, he makes the bucket. We go another way. Same situation here. They like to work through the big man out of the pistol action. DHO kicks back. And really the same set right there without the pick and roll. Same set, just a light DHO. Julius Randle catch and shoot. Now, and Julius Randle with the ISO here as well. Very tough to guard because of his strength. Underrated passer. All right. Again, when he's shooting the ball at this clip, what can you really do? What can you really do? Now he's in this Draymond Green type of role, but with more offensive skills, be able to hit the step back jumper. Again, this dude has added so many elements to his game. It's crazy. When we ask how are the Knicks this good, the proof is in the pudding. All you have to do is simply watch the games. Remember, they proved me wrong. They proved me wrong already. But it's because of this man. It's because of Tom Thibodeau. And when Julius Randle, your leader, buys into that system and everybody is thriving, you're going to more easily get all your guys to fall in line. And he's so good. He's so good with creating that contact, putting his man at a disadvantage. Next player we got to talk about, RJ Barrett. Now, RJ Barrett, for me, he's had some games where he's looked extremely streaky. But he's went under the radar this year for all that he's done for this team. He's went under the radar. 33 minutes a game, as you see. 17.2 points per game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Look at his numbers. 44% from the field, 37% from the 3, 73% from the free throw line. Now, as a guard, you want at least the free throw percentage up a little bit, but 37% from the 3 is very solid. You're an above average 3-point shooter in this league. Let's check out how Tom Thibodeau uses RJ Barrett in his offense. Remember, it's about misdirection. It's about misdirection and then read and react, taking the best shot. But unlike a lot of players on this team, RJ Barrett is what we call a non-pattern player. All right, we're going to see some examples of that right here. All right, this is what I mean. Able to go outside of the pick and roll, go outside of the offense, and do what you need to do to score. All right, even in the midst of 3 Minnesota Timberwolves, he's able to maneuver, get shifty, and score the bucket. Off the pick and roll, he's able to drive on the big, finish. These are non-pattern player moves. You need a player like this to win games in the playoffs. A guy who can just go strictly ISO and just go get you a bucket when you need it. Just to let you see right here. This is called manufacturing buckets, manufacturing plays, manufacturing situations. Got RJ Barrett again making something out of nothing off the double team because you have to start honoring him because he's been such an elite scorer. Now he's showing himself to be a willing and legitimate passer as well. Pick and roll used beautifully. He probes, gets into the lane, makes a beautiful pass to Taj Gibson. These are non-pattern player moves, y'all. Non-pattern player. When he has the good size up, the pull up, all right. You guys know how hard it is that pull up with a chase down behind you. You cannot deny this man what he's doing on the court. And what I like most about this offense is no one's being indecisive. They're getting to their spots. They're making crisp passes. And guys are making open shots. You really can't ask for more. Cannot ask for more with this team. They're extremely patient. A play like that in the past, Julius Randle would have barreled into his man and got a charge. He drove in with body control, hit the open man, and they were off to the races, on to the other way. Patience again, great passing, making shots. It shouldn't come to a surprise. It shouldn't come to a surprise to anybody that the Knicks are this good after watching them play up into the All-Star break. It should no longer be surprising people. This team is now in serious contention. All right. If you play them in the first or second round of the playoffs, you're going to have a lot on your plate to exit. All right. We got Emmanuel Quickly. I called him the steal of the draft. He was underrated SEC player of the year last year for Kentucky. They got so many players, not just Nerlens Noel, not named Nerlens Noel. Derrick Rose has come to that team, been very serviceable off the bench, and even when he starts as well. Great finish right there by Julius Randle. Obviously, Nerlens Noel, we know his value. And you see how this offense flows? Tom Thibodeau is just giving them the confidence to run this offense the way they see fit on the court. Things change on the fly all the time. Things never look the same as they do in practice. Tom Thibodeau, with his read and react offense and his read and react defense, is giving this team the confidence that they needed to not just have a successful season this year, but he's giving them the confidence to really have a legitimate chance of winning a game in the first and second round of the playoffs. Now, can they beat a team like the Sixers? Can they beat a dissimilar team like the Heat? Can they beat the Nets when it matters most? I don't know. But as it stands right now, what we wanted to see out of the New York Knicks, and this is from fans and from people who are just from the outside looking in, I just wanted to see a level of improvement to a certain degree. And they have far surpassed my bar with regards to what I expected from this team. So you got to give a big salute to Tom Thibodeau, all of these players on the New York Knicks, and even as much as it pains me to say, you even have to give James Dolan credit for making the right hire. And you can say it was by accident. People are still criticizing Tom Thibodeau, saying he's running players into the ground. But at the end of the day, he's building a winning culture. All right, this team looks like they're having fun playing with each other. All right, they built a lot of confidence even with the bench guys because he didn't give up on them. He re-signed them all and brought them back. And that goes light years. When you're trying to compel the 10th, the 12th, the 14th man on your bench to do certain things in game, well, they trust the coach. The coach trusted them, giving them another chance at playing in the NBA. A guy like Elfrid Payton, who was waived and then re-signed. A guy like Alec Burke, who's been getting traded left and right, potentially out of the league soon. A guy like Frank Ntilikina, who's solid defensively, but just completely trash regards offensively in any other category. He's instilled a level of confidence in this team that I didn't think anybody could. And so, once again, I have to admit that I was wrong about the New York Knicks. And I definitely appreciate the direction that the New York Knicks are going. All right, and they're starting off with the best philosophy that you need to win a championship, and that's defensively. Offense will always come. Offense will eventually come. You can ultimately, in this climate, go buy and bring in a player who can give you offense. What they're doing on defense, you can't buy. And that's the most invaluable thing that you can have. So I can say with a degree of certainty that I can picture the Knicks in the NBA Finals over the next 5 years if they continue this trend, if they continue building off this culture. All All right, it's FYL Sports, man. You guys let me know what you think about this video, man. We had to come. We had to come with a crazy NBA film study video. Hope you guys enjoy, man. I try to teach as much as I can. I try to give you guys some jewels. At the end of the day, it's just gonna make y'all stronger in y'all debate game. And again, if I'm wrong about the Knicks, come back and let me know. I say a lot of positive things about the Knicks, and in my comments, I get a little pushback. All right, well, you can give that pushback live when we go live. All right, remember, don't forget, I said it at the beginning of the video. We're going to be streaming live on Facebook. All right, so when we go live, I'm going to put all the notifications everywhere. Online on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. But you're going to need to join to watch the live panel. You're going to need to go to Facebook. But I'll have those links everywhere so you don't miss it. All right, so make sure you're checking the community posts, social media, even our YouTube videos, because I'll put up a video just to notify you guys that I'm going live. But again, another great breakdown video. Salute to the Knicks. We got more videos to come. We're going to be dropping a lot of videos on a lot of different topics coming up soon. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell for the best basketball content on YouTube. Hey, but it's FYF Sports. Another great NBA film study video.